if you're sharing the screen.
So the recording, I think the recording is started.
And आपको
Okay.
दे दिया host. I think now it's done.
Sure. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know how to get rid of this upper bar. Okay, so I think we can go on with it. So looking at the impact air pollution is having, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change launched National Clean Air Program, and it had targets of reducing these particulate matter levels by 20 to 30% by 2024. And 132 non-attainment cities were identified, out of which four Gujarat cities were also there: Surat, Ahmedabad, Vadodara, and Rajkot. So Surat reacted on it and planned to prepare a Surat Clean Air Action Plan, and with NCAP targets of 20 to 30% reduction. So the objective of this plan was to generate an interactive platform for various stakeholders for different infrastructure sectors, and that they could come together and influence the relevant policies and legislation of the cities, and ultimately reduce air pollution and protect public health. So to support this Surat Clean Air Action Plan, we needed the contributions from different sectors like industries, transport, road dust resuspension, construction sector, etc. So, source apportionment study was carried out by Terry, and it suggested that the particulate matter predominantly comes from industry, transport sector, and road dust resuspension. Similarly, for PM10 also, these three sectors are majorly responsible for all the air pollution that is coming. So these three sectors needed to be taken on priority, and some mitigation measures needed to be implemented. So the exposure to air pollution. So as we can see in the last slide, that more than 60% of these particulate matters are coming from transport sector or road dust resuspension. So the exposure for these pollutant coming from these two sectors will be majorly around road stretches and the pedestrians that are walking on the roads. So they'll be at the most of risk of air pollution exposure. So uh, some mitigation measures should be planned in a way that we reduce the exposure of these uh, population that are at risk. So there are some air pollution mitigation measures that are being taken. There is a clean construction pilot going on in Surat to reduce air pollution from construction activities. There is some work going on a low emission zone. Then there are measures being taken to increase the waste collection coverage, and mechanized sweeping of roads are also carried out in the city to reduce dust load on the roads. Then green infrastructure. How can we use green infrastructure as a tool to reduce air pollution and its exposure? So it is a known fact that green infrastructure around roadside can prevent particles from traveling to nearby residential areas, and in turn, it will reduce exposure of the population. Uh, it also plays an important role in improving air quality by taking up gases and particles, and that depends upon the plant's tolerance or sensitivity level to that air pollutant. And due to this these plants ability of these plants, several reports have proposed treating air pollution by use of these plants. So there are several co-benefits of plantation also, like sensitive species can be used as a bioindicator to see the levels of harmful pollutants. Then there are tolerant species that can be used as a sink for air pollution. Trees also play an important role in carbon storage, so that will counter the anthropogenic emissions of carbon dioxide. Then it also plays a significant role in minimizing urban heat island effect, as it maintains ambient air at a lower temperature, and it also induces good wind movement due to a balance of hard and soft surface ratio. So this is in brief what we have discussed, that air pollution comes from various sources: road transport, industries, construction. Then these are the pollutants that are coming from these sources. Majorly, we focus on particulate matter and ultrafine particles. And then how green infrastructure, what type of green infrastructure can be used to tackle the problem of air pollution. But there are benefits attached to green infrastructure. There are economic benefits, then health impacts, social impacts, but there are some consequences also. So if we do not plan green infrastructure in such a way that it is, impacting the air pollution in a right way, then it could lead to higher air pollution in some areas also. So, in street canyons, especially, which we'll discuss later, uh, a high plant cover can lead to trapping of air pollutants in these street canyons and increase the exposure of pedestrians that are walking there or the residents living nearby. So the design of plantation should be carefully thought about, and that's how we can optimize benefits and avoid consequences of improper design of plantation. So there are some factors to consider when we are taking up plantation in open areas and in street canyons. So some common factors are that we use native species to for plantation, because they'll be resistant to the climatic conditions that are present in present in the local conditions. Then it should have a high air pollution tolerance index, because in urban settings in India, the air pollution levels are high in wherever we go. Even in Surat, we see particulate matter concentrations over 150 or even 200. So they should have a high air pollution tolerance index. Then they should have, obviously they should have benefits of air pollution and exposure reduction, and some co-benefits like minimizing heat island effect. They should be flood resistant in some areas, and then there is also co-benefits of beautification. But when we are planning plantation for street canyons specifically, uh, on the right we can see a street canyon, road stretch that is having buildings on both the sides. So when we are planning plantation in these type of areas, uh, the plantation design, we should be very careful about that plantation design, because it could increase the pollutant concentrations by trapping those pollutants in these street canyons. So street canyons, they can be shallow or shallow street canyon. Here, the height of the buildings, the ratio of the height of the building to the width of the road is not more than zero point 0.5. So there is constant wind movement, and there is no resistance to wind flow. So a pollutant will be dispersed easily. Then there are moderate canyons where this ratio is between zero point 0.5 and 2, and there are restricted airflow, but there is some airflow because the height of the building is not that high. So the plantation here, we cannot plant trees here. We can plant hedges or smaller plants here. So the airflow doesn't get restricted. And then there are deep canyons. So the height of the building is very high, and there is restriction on wind flow. So if we plant any trees here, then it will restrict the airflow more, and it will have adverse impact on the air quality of that region. So this is a scenario of a typical open space in Surat. This is Domus Road. So we have created scenario for area something similar like Domus Road. So it is typically an open area, and it can have trees, multiple layer of trees. So multiple layer of trees in an open area is depicted to have uh, high impact on reduction of air pollution. So we can plan plantation depending on the area available for plantation. So plant species, these are some examples for plant species that can be planted in different types of street canyons. So in open areas, we can plant trees like neem, which has height around 15 to 30 meters, or a high canopy, a wide canopy. But we cannot plant it in moderate canyons and deep canyons because it will take a lot of space, and the wind flow will be restricted. Similarly, these kind of plants we can plant in moderate canyons because the canopy is not that wide, and it will not have much impact on the wind movement. And mostly in deep canyons, it is not advisable to plant trees or even plants, smaller plants. But if we have some space and there is a need for plantation, then smaller plants with the smaller canopy can be used in those areas. So finally, there is an impact of plantation on air pollution and reduction of exposure in residents. But the design of plantation has to be taken very carefully, and should depend on the canyon type that is there. Thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. That was really insightful.
And just a moment. How am I? Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you, Gaurav. That was really helpful. And we have few new guests today. Dr. B.K. Patel, Dharni Dalal, and Nikki Yadav. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah. Sorry, I was missed a little bit late, and I was not knowing, but just I thanks to Jetali ji. Just she didn't recall me. But thank you.
So Gaurav, thank you in spite of your health, taking the time to walk us through this presentation. I have a question more to Kishore bhai, and Gaurav could also respond to it. So we've been, talking a lot around biodiversity and how we want to kind of improve the situation in Surat, and we took a lot of actionables for that in the past meetings. So Kishore bhai, where do you see this fitting in?
Actually, whatever Gaurav has told about this, we now want to prove that scientifically. Maybe Gaurav will like to add that we would like to take some stretches and carry out some studies to get some exact numbers. So once we have those numbers and whatever we are saying, if it is backed by science, then if you propose something that will be more like concrete. So maybe Gaurav can explain like how what WRI is planning and to do the study in relation to green infrastructure and its impact. So once we have that impact study done, and then we have some numbers, then we will like to take that forward. Gaurav, you like to add?
So our main focus has been on reduction of air pollution. So what we are planning is that there is some existing tree cover in Surat. So we are going to carry out some air pollution monitoring around those areas and take different types of trees that are there and see what impact they are having in on reduction of air pollution exposure to these residents. So uh, I'm not sure about biodiversity, but we are looking at green infrastructure and different types of trees that can be planted in Surat, and that will help reduce air pollution and exposure of residents in Surat.
So you plan to make some stretches and then
So, no. So, firstly, we are planning to carry out air pollution monitoring around existing tree cover, existing green infrastructure, and then we are also creating a green infrastructure guideline for officials of Surat Municipal Corporation. So they use it for their reference when they are going for plantation. They should not as we discussed that the plant type or tree type will depend on street canyons, the type of street canyon that are there. So they have a reference that this kind of plantation can be done in this type of area. So the plantation is not improper and it leads to more problems in future.
so I mean the species that you are suggesting, are they native to the region?
Yeah. So this is the first you know So if we are going for plantation, then we should look for native species, because if we are not planting native species, that might not be feasible, because native species are resistant to the climatic conditions and they will the growth will be better in these native species.
So the guidelines that you intend to provide, is it around what you showed in the presentation, or if there's more to it?
Yeah, more or less this it contains similar suggestions, and but it will also contain a list of species that will be that can be planted in different areas of the city, and it will have some more review on these co-benefits of plantation other than air pollution reduction.
Let me add to it. The problem is that the road dust, the problem of road dust and its resuspension is continuous in Surat, and it's very high proportion, and it has its health issues all related to it. So and like we say in Hindi, road dust का कोई माई बाप नहीं है. Like we cannot pinpoint कि ये कहाँ से आ रहा है और who is responsible for it. Like if a vehicle is emitting from its tailpipe, we can penalize the vehicle or we can penalize the industry for the smoke coming out of the chimney. But road dust, there is no concrete study on yet in India, like what are the sources. People say generally natural dust है, vehicle के wear and tear से हो रहा है, some say construction से कुछ proportion आ रहा है, but exact numbers nobody knows. So, and there is a generally under the biodiversity and greening activity, there is a provision for planting trees on the roadside. So our focus was that if we could explore some kind of species which will absorb the like PM 2.5 and PM 10 and reduce the exposure to the citizens. So it will be like mutual benefit. Plantation का काम भी हो जाएगा and it will be reduce the air pollution exposure to the pedestrian or the citizens who are living around it. So that was the main focus. But data, whatever we are saying, we need to back it by data. So we will carry out some data collection, monitoring in the existing plantation stretches, like जैसे अभी डूमस रोड का दिखाया, some identified stretch, वेसु कैनाल रोड हो गया या न्यू सिटी लाइट रोड हो गया, so जहाँ पे अच्छी खासी canopy है, and there is some good plantation, and there are some stretches जहाँ पे कोई plantation नहीं है. So we will carry out the monitoring and see कि जहाँ पे plantation नहीं है, जहाँ पे है, what kind of effect the plantation is having. So we have some kind of numbers, and then we can also see the species that are playing the role. So once we have that numbers also, then it will be a very good study also, and then the recommendations will be very good. Yeah.
I would like to add one point, Gaurav. In your presentation, the construction related, I think it is just 5%, but I feel जो road dust है उसमें उसका contribution would be more than 50% for sure.
Yeah, so the problem is कि हमारे पास जो अभी existing studies है या फिर existing methodologies जो है contribution को estimate करने के लिए somewhere they are not sufficient. So construction का जो actual जब हम emission inventory भी बनाते हैं तो there is not a set methodology जो transport के लिए बहुत सारा काम हुआ है, then ओपन बर्निंग के लिए बहुत सारा काम हुआ है, इवन इंडस्ट्रीज के ऊपर बहुत काम हुआ है, बट
sorry
हाँ, तो बट द प्रॉब्लम विद कंस्ट्रक्शन इज कि उसके ऊपर अभी उतना फोकस नहीं है. सो वी आर ट्राइंग टू कैरी आउट अ स्टडी ऑन कंस्ट्रक्शन आल्सो, कंस्ट्रक्शन एक्टिविटीज आल्सो, सो दैट उनका जितना कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो मतलब एक्यूरेटली मेजर हो पाए. So there is a clean construction pilot going on, and then we are also working on.
I think Sangeet
an emission inventory
right?
Sorry.
Yeah, we are doing with Sangeeni. Yeah.
So basically,
Sangeeni.
my suggestion was, if we see green building guidelines also, then basic three things that we do for reducing air pollution, like one is 3-meter barricading compulsory, because it is lot of places it is not there. Second is tire wash facility, so that all the incoming, because maximum jo road dust it is because of the trucks which are coming out of sight, right? Then why are we not implementing tire wash facility as one of the measures? Because that would, I feel, cut down the road dust to good amount of extent.
So there are some discussions going on for implementing clean construction measures in Surat, but mostly the size of these construction activities are very small. So in particularly in Indian conditions, we are looking for tire wash facilities, but in smaller construction sites there is constraint. So आपके पास वहाँ पे स्पेस का भी कंस्ट्रेंट है और बजट का भी कंस्ट्रेंट है. So we'll have to look at alternatives. There are alternatives for this too. So we can go for paved roads. We can go for mulching on these areas where vehicle travels. So there are some measures being taken, and definitely tire wash is the ultimate solution to this problem.
Also loose sand, because यहाँ पे batching plants वगैरह में भी they keep loose sand, they do not cover it as well. So I think those measures we can definitely
those measures we are taking on this clean construction pilot, and once we have the evidence, the scientific evidence, we can communicate it to the authorities that this is the impact these measures are having, and we can implement it on a larger scale.
Right.
विरल भाई, एसएमसी इज वेरी कीन. मेरे ख्याल से 1-1.5 महीने के अंदर गाइडलाइंस से प्रॉपर बायलॉज या नोटिस
प्रॉब्लम इज हम लोग
आ जाएगा.
आई हैव माय पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस. हम लोग ने टायर वॉश फैसिलिटी 2-3 साइट पे करवाया था, तो उसमें एसएमसी उनको मॉस्किटो ब्रीडिंग का मॉस्किटोस का चार्ज करके जाते हैं.
प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि वो टायर वॉशिंग में क्या इंडियन कंडीशंस में आप टायर वॉश करते हैं और फिर उसी मिट्टी के ऊपर टायर आते हैं, तो वो मिट्टी चिपक जाती है. द रेड क्ले एंड द क्ले स्टिक्स टू द टायर. फिर वो रोड के ऊपर
आरएमसीज वगैरह में इट इज रिक्वायर्ड सम, मतलब वी हैव सीन द डिफरेंस फॉर श्योर. वो 2-3 साइट्स
नहीं एक्चुअली टायर वर्क के लिए क्योंकि अपने यहाँ साइट्स अंदर से कंक्रीटाइज मतलब नहीं होती है,
Paved roads है।
मल्चिंग भी नहीं
Right,
होती,
right, right.
तो ओपन ही रहती। कई बार हमने देखा कि हम लोग पानी स्प्रे करते हैं और फिर ट्रक आ जाता है, तो वो ट्रक में मिट्टी चिपक जाती है, फिर वो मिट्टी रोड पे चली जाती है। सो वो बहुत सारी चीजों में करने की जरूरत है। तो ये एक पायलट लेवल पे ये हमारे पास ऑब्जर्वेशंस आए हैं, हमारे पास नंबर्स हैं, हम लोग एसएमसी के साथ कम्युनिकेशन कर रहे हैं और एसएमसी बहुत कीन है कि इसमें करने के। वी आर also doing propose some training programs with ICA चेयरमैन से भी हमारी बात हुई, ICA प्रेसिडेंट से और क्रेडिट प्रेसिडेंट से बात हुई है, तो उनके साथ हम लोग उनके साइट इंजीनियर्स के लिए ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स भी चालू करने वाले हैं। लेजिस्लेशन पे एसएमसी इज वेरी कीन, तो वी आर आल्सो हेल्पिंग देम आउट विद दैट पार्ट। सो सब पे काम चल रहा है, बिकॉज साइंटिफिक एविडेंस नहीं था अभी। आप जो बता रहे हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट, जो ये अभी सोर्स अप्रोचमेंट स्टडी का आप जो नंबर बता रहे हैं, आपको हैरानी होगी कि हमारे पास कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट्स का कोई एमिशन फैक्टर ही नहीं है। हम लोग यूएस का एमिशन फैक्टर यूज करते हैं। इंडिया में जितनी भी अभी सोर्स अप्रोचमेंट स्टडीज हो रही हैं, तो यूएस का सॉइल टाइप क्या है, क्लाइमेट टाइप क्या है, लेकिन हम लोग वही यूज करते हैं क्योंकि इंडिया में कोई एमिशन फैक्टर है ही नहीं सोर्स अप्रोचमेंट स्टडी के लिए। सो तो इतना डेटा गैप है, तो इसकी वजह से इंडियन कंडीशंस में हर इतने सारे क्लाइमेटिक जोन्स हैं, इतनी सारी सॉइल टाइप्स हैं, तो हर एक के लिए एमिशन फैक्टर अलग अलग होना चाहिए कि वेस्टर्न इंडिया के लिए अलग होगा, नॉर्थर्न इंडिया के लिए अलग होगा। तो ये सब बहुत सारे डेटा गैप्स हैं। तो हम लोग भी जब भी चाहते हैं कि एसएमसी को या मिनिस्ट्री को कोई भी अगर पॉलिसी लेवल पे कोई सजेशन दे, इट शुड बी बैक्ड बाय साइंस एंड डेटा। तो हम लोग इसीलिए वो कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट पे मॉनिटर्स लगा के मॉनिटरिंग कर रहे हैं और एक्टिविटीज वाइज हम लोग डेटा जनरेट करते हैं कि अभी वो प्रोसेस चालू है। अभी समर का मॉनिटरिंग होगा, विंटर का हुआ है, तो एक बार ईयर राउंड डेटा आ जाए तो फिर हम उसके साथ वी कैन गो टू द पीपल। एंड आई थिंक अहमदाबाद में भी बाय लॉस पे काम हो रहा है, वडोदरा ने भी कुछ जाहिर नोटिस निकाला है, तो सूरत इज आल्सो वेरी कीन कि इस पे काम हो।
मेरा एक ऑब्जर्वेशन है कि डस्ट डस्ट के लिए मैं सिटी लाइट रहते हैं समझो। So whenever I used to go and terrace, I used to found very micro level black dust. So that source I'm not able to identify from where it has is coming. It may miss this type of जो dust है वो भी इफेक्ट तो करते ही होंगे इसमें। तो ये भी एक पॉइंट है आपकी, कहाँ से ये सोर्स है वो पता नहीं चलता।
So we are also working on this part. हमारा एक सर्वे है रोड डस्ट का, तो हम वी आर कैरिंग आउट रोड डस्ट सर्वे अलग अलग रोड टाइप्स पे सूरत, अराउंड सूरत। सो उसमें देन विल गो फॉर केमिकल कैरेक्टराइजेशन। So with the help of that chemical characterization, we'll be able to find the source where it is coming from.
Okay.
That black dust that you are talking about, it can come from industries, क्योंकि इंडस्ट्रीज का जो पोल्यूटेंट रिलीज होता है वो काफी ऊपर रिलीज होता है, एंड इट कैन ट्रेवल up to 50 kilometers.
Yes.
So the industries on the outskirts can have impact on air quality of Surat city.
Yeah, and mostly it
जो
is
इवनिंग में जो
during the
ब्रीज चलती है हजीरा से अंदर की तरफ, तो वो मेरे ख्याल से लेके आती होगी, ये गैस वर्क है।
हजीरा या that Sachin side also might be वो भी ज्यादातर जो है ना समर के टाइम पे नहीं, लेकिन ज्यादातर ये सर्दियों के जो दिन होते हैं उसी टाइम पे ज्यादा इकट्ठा होता है ऑन टेरेस। तो वो माइट बी इट्स डिपेंड्स ऑन द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द विंड, वहां से पता चल सकते हैं कि कौन सी इंडस्ट्रीज में इट कुड अकोमोडेट ऑन दिस टेरेस।
यस, सो वही मतलब दैट्स व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू कि हमारे पास एक साइंटिफिक एविडेंस हो कि सोर्सेज क्या क्या है। So that's why we are carrying out that survey.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
So आपने जो बोला about the study that you intend to conduct at the green stretches. तो उसको आप कब conduct करने वाले हो, उसको कितना time लगेगा?
So we are planning it after Holi. So I think in the mid March के बाद में हम उसे start करेंगे. So I think around 1 month data will be sufficient for carrying out some impact assessment. So by the end of April or in May, we'll have some concrete evidence of this. And parallelly, we are also developing the guidance. So it will be a part of the guidance only. This study also will be a part of the guide, Green Infrastructure Development Guide.
So I'm very curious, like as a non-technical person, it's very hard for me to imagine कि air contained तो नहीं रहेगी, air तो move होती रहती है with wind, and so it is so difficult to really see कि ये पेड़ से ये impact आ रहा है. I mean, I'm just not imagine.
So plants sometimes it acts as a barrier, or the leaves that प्लांट्स की जो लीव्स होती हैं उनकी कुछ डिपोजिशन कैपेसिटी होती है उनके ऊपर. जैसे आप अगर देखोगे प्लांट्स के ऊपर, आपको प्लांट की लीव्स के ऊपर डस्ट दिखाई देगा. तो वो डस्ट इफ इट इज नॉट डिपॉजिटेड ऑन द लीव देन इट विल बी इन द एटमॉस्फेयर. So some amount of dust is deposited on the leaf, and some amount of air pollution is being reduced by these plants. और समटाइम्स वो एक बैरियर के टाइप एक्ट करेगा, तो जो रेजिडेंट्स होंगे उनको बचाने का काम करेगा. एंड सिमिलरली वो विंड मूवमेंट में भी हेल्प करते हैं प्लांट्स. तो जो डिस्पर्जन जो हम दिल्ली में बोलते हैं कि स्टैटिक एयर हो गई है, कि प्लांट जो पोल्यूटेंट है वो मूव ही नहीं हो रहा है, तो अगर विंड मूवमेंट प्रॉपर रहेगा तो वो डिस्पर्जन भी इजीली होगा. डिस्पर्ज होके जो पोल्यूटेंट है वो या तो अपर एटमॉस्फेयर में जाएगा या फिर उस एक लोकेलिटी से बाहर निकलेगा.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now you're muted, Snail Bhai. We were able to hear you. Yes.
Yeah, now you can hear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, actually, when we are talking about this pollution in the city, actually we are surrounded, as well as we have within the city this pollution sources, like all the ready-mix cement plants which are existing on the large construction site. If you see them carefully, while cement is being transferred into the silos, while the sand is being transferred, you will see a lot of dust and cement particles are flying around. And also the question of washing the tire, that can be implemented at least at the bigger site. We have several bigger sites which are having their own this ready-mix concrete plant, which is bringing in lot of trucks. In my opinion, this ready-mix plant should not be in residential areas. They should be outside our residential area, so that even the truck movement will be less. Only the ready-mix concrete will come into the city and not all the ingredients. The other source of our pollution is burning, especially in winter. All the watchmen or the people sleeping on the streets, they are burning waste, plastic, and a lot of other materials like that to keep themselves warm. Also, the trash collectors, they are burning tires, electric wires, and most of them are within our city limits. You will frequently see black smoke coming out from their units or from their backyards. Also, the ONGC Hajira black flame which is coming out, we are downwind of that flame, and you can see a black huge smoke cloud coming on the city. So all this, and the Sachin Pandesra, they are all emitting very fine charcoal powder, and especially in winter when the wind is from the north east side, that is opposite of our regular wind direction, all this smoke is coming on our city. And first of all this dying houses, they have been provided gas for burning in the boilers, but still they are burning charcoal. Also, in our industrial area, there are private power plants. Although there is no shortage of electricity in our city, there are private power plants which are burning charcoal. And unless these big sources of pollution emitting industry or sources are not tackled, our pollution in Surat city is not going to go down. That is all.
I think Akash wants to add something.
Yeah. So since quite 10 years, we've been getting complaints of smell in the air. There's a stench smell. So we've identified a few sources, but I would like to ask this: have you identified any source of this smell? And it is usually prevalent after 11 p.m. and it exists till 6 a.m.
So, sir. Hello, Kishore sir. I think when we met RO GPCB, she was also talking about it. So I'm not sure about the source of that smell, but potentially it could be from industries. I'm not sure about it. So Kishore sir might be able to answer it better.
नहीं, मुझे भी कोई आइडिया नहीं है. आई थिंक हम दो लोग वी वर टुगेदर जब वो आरओ मैडम वाज सेइंग द स्मेल इंडस्ट्री से आती है. एंड वो नो आइडिया, क्योंकि वो स्मेल का, क्योंकि उसका कोई उसमें मॉनिटरिंग डिवाइस में कुछ आता नहीं होगा या क्या, किस तरह की गैस है, क्या है, नो आइडिया.
So जो गैस की स्मेल है, that is more prevalent in the areas near to the river. जो डाउनस्ट्रीम है वहाँ पे ज्यादा स्मेल आती है, और जैसे जैसे थोड़ा सिटी की तरफ आएंगे वहाँ पे स्मेल थोड़ी कम होती है. तो
इसका मतलब अगर वो कोई कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है डाउनस्ट्रीम, अगर आप कह रहे हैं, तो जैसे हम लोग ये बॉम्बे में उल्लासनगर नहीं हुए ऑब्जर्व करते थे कि जो कभी-कभी इंडस्ट्रियल एफ्लुएंट चला जाता है तो नदी के पानी से भी स्मेल आनी शुरू हो जाती थी. तो अगर ये कुछ इसमें बड़ी इंडस्ट्रीज का रोल होगा तो इसमें बेसिकली पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड ही बता सकता है कि किस तरह से क्यों स्मेल आ रही है, क्योंकि ये बड़ा जो एनकैप की जो ये स्टडी है और इसमें जो बाउंड्री लिमिटेशंस है, तो इसमें सब में एक ये गैप है कि सिटी वाइज एक्शन प्लान्स दिए हुए हैं कि एक सिटी की बाउंड्री है और उसी के अंदर एक्शन प्लान बनाना है, लेकिन बहुत सारे सोर्सेस ट्रांस बाउंड्री हैं. एयर पोल्यूशन तो जो सोर्सेज हैं और जो हवाएं चलती हैं, दे डोंट स्टिक टू द बाउंड्रीज. सो अभी एसएमसी अगर इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहा है तो हजीरा उसके बाउंड्री में नहीं आता है, तो दे आर लीस्ट कंसर्न्ड अबाउट, तो सोर्स का वो कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. सो ये थोड़ा सा इसीलिए जो सेकंड फेज है एनकैप का, उसमें लोग बोल रहे हैं कि ग्रेडेड एक्शन प्लान होना चाहिए, एक
एयरशेड लेवल के ऊपर.
एयरशेड लेवल, जैसे कंट्री को 6 से 8 एयरशेड लेवल में बांधा गया है, तो हर एक एयरशेड होना चाहिए जिसमें विंड मूवमेंट और ज्योग्राफिक और क्लाइमेटिक और वेदर के हिसाब से एक एयरशेड होना चाहिए. उसके लिए एक प्लानिंग होनी चाहिए. अभी जो सूरत का क्लीन एयर एक्शन प्लान है, जब हम बना रहे थे तो सचिन भी एरिया से बाहर था. अभी कड़ोदरा और पलसाना की इंडस्ट्रीज से कुछ अगर धुआं अंदर आ रहा है तो वो सिटी की बाउंड्री के बाहर है, लेकिन अगर उसका पोल्यूशन अंदर आ रहा है तो उसमें उसके लिए ट्रांस बाउंड्री सोर्सेज हैं, तो उसमें कुछ नहीं कर सकते, बस मेंशन किया हुआ है। तो ये भी एक थोड़ा सा जो सिटी वाइज इम्प्लीमेंटेशन है, इसमें भी ये बहुत बड़ा गैप है जो देश भर में दिखाई दे रहा है। बहुत सारी सिटीज में ये हो रहा है कि ट्रांस बाउंड्री सोर्सेज से पोल्यूशन हो रहा है।
किशोर सर, एक सजेशन है, जैसे अगर ये स्मेल इंडस्ट्रियल एफ्लुएंट की है, तो व्हाई कांट वी इंस्टॉल समथिंग इन द सीटीपी इटसेल्फ, कोई गैस एनालाइजर या कोई गैस एनालाइजिंग डिवाइस, जिससे हमें पता चले कि गैस स्मेल कौन से गैस की है, एंड if it is the same smell that comes to the city, then we can be dead sure that okay, it is coming from the industrial effluent water. तो क्या है, because this problem has been existing since past 10-15 years. 15 साल से तो मैं ही देख रहा हूँ ये स्मेल तो मुझे रात को आती ही है,
नहीं
स्पेशली
नहीं,
ड्यूरिंग
हमारे
विंटर।
मैंने भी ये प्रॉब्लम देखी है। ये मैं जब न्यू बॉम्बे में रहता था, तो वो न्यू बॉम्बे आपको पता होगा, ठाणे बेलापुर रोड है, इधर रेसिडेंशियल एरिया है और उधर इंडस्ट्रियल एरिया है। तो नोसिल और बड़े बड़े केमिकल प्लांट्स थे, और मानसून्स में ये सब एफ्लुएंट ऐसी नदी के अंदर बहा देते थे, तो वाटर यूज्ड टू स्मेल ऑफ द पोल्यूटेंट और समटाइम्स एयर आल्सो। तो इसमें ये दिक्कत है, और ये इसमें ये पूरा मॉनिटरिंग का जो है, ये पूरा रिस्पांसिबिलिटी पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड का है, क्योंकि ये वो ही कर सकते हैं। दे हैव द रिसोर्स एंड कैपेसिटी, एंड बाय लॉ दे कैन डू इट। और
सर
कोई
एक्चुअली
इसमें
दिस इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कंसर्न्स, बिकॉज लोग अपनी खिड़कियां नहीं खोल पाते हैं रात को 11 बजे के बाद,
बिल्कुल
और
बिल्कुल
रात को 3-3 बजे लोग कंप्लेन हमें भेजते हैं कि आपके हमारे यहाँ पे स्मेल आ रही है, एंड दे आर अप ऑल नाइट। तो इससे सिटी का हैप्पीनेस इंडेक्स, वी आर एक्चुअली टॉकिंग अबाउट 75 लाख पीपल, तो इट इज आई थिंक वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट इश्यूज which is still not being discussed on a bigger level.
बिल्कुल इसको बड़े लेवल पे डिस्कस होना चाहिए, और कम से कम इसकी मॉनिटरिंग हो, कहाँ से आ रहा है ये तो पता चले कुछ। तो जब तक इसकी कुछ मॉनिटरिंग होगी, स्टडी नहीं होगी क्या है, कहाँ से आ रहा है, तब तक उसको टैकल करना भी मुश्किल है। और तो उसमें तो मैं तो यही कह रहा हूँ, पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड ही इसमें लीडरशिप को ले सकता है।
So, Kishore bhai, could you facilitate that discussion? की स्टडी तो जनरली WRI के पास आएगी कि किसके पास आएगी जनरली ऐसे?
नहीं ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं अभी तो। वो तो अभी पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड उसको किस लेवल पे लेता है और कहाँ से कहाँ जाती है बात। तो अभी does pollution control board recognize this as a problem? Because अगर they once they recognize, then they will try to solve it by measuring another thing. तो अभी अगर उनके रडार पे ही नहीं है, तो first we have to bring it to the radar कि ये इशू है और इसको देखा जाना चाहिए। तो मेरे ख्याल से collective as a citizens voice, we can send a petition to ROGPCB, और उनको उनसे मिल के पुश कर सकते हैं कि ये इसका कुछ कीजिए मैम। maybe copy to the member secretary pollution control board की ये प्रॉब्लम है।
I think Ashmi wants to add something.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. So I had two questions for Kishore sir. One is do you have any calculation of like how many trees would it be required to solve such a big problem of air pollution? Like क्योंकि हमारे पास land की मतलब कमी है, we don't have enough space. So do you think like अगर आपने ऐसा कुछ calculation किया है कि जो हमारे footpaths है वहाँ पे हम plantation की बात कर रहे हैं जो, so would that space be enough to cater to the level of pollution that we are talking about? And if not enough, then like, are you also planning ki, apart from the footpaths, if we have open spaces or spaces which are not being used, which is under SMC, ऐसे डिग्रेडेड लैंड है, उसको यूज करके वहां पे प्लांटेशन करे, ऐसा कुछ is there a planning for that as a alternative?
इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट कि कितने पेड़ लगेंगे, बिकॉज हर पेड़ हर स्पीशीज की अपनी क्वालिटी है। मेरे ख्याल से इसको कोई एस्टिमेट नहीं कर पाएगा कि सूरत की पोल्यूशन को कम करने के लिए कितने पेड़ लगाने होंगे और क्या, बिकॉज उसको एस्टिमेट करना और उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना बड़ा मुश्किल है। लेकिन जो आपका सेकंड पार्ट है कि प्लांटेशन, जो एनकैप में एक प्रोविजन है, मेरे ख्याल से अभी पता नहीं उसको क्या उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन स्टेटस है, कि अगर कोई प्लॉट मेरे ख्याल से 3 से 5 साल के से खाली है तो उस पर प्लांटेशन होना चाहिए। और मेरे ख्याल से कुछ इंडस्ट्रियल जो एरिया है जैसे पंडेसरा वगैरह में अगर कोई खाली प्लॉट है तो उस पर वो प्लांटेशन होना चाहिए टू रिड्यूस द लोकल पीएम कंसंट्रेशन। तो मेरे ख्याल से उस पर जीआईजेड और कुछ काम कर रहा है। 2-3 प्लॉट्स में प्लांटेशन भी हुए हैं उनके, मेरे ख्याल से लास्ट टाइम जो जीपीसीबी चेयरमैन थे उन्होंने भी एक प्लॉट का इनॉग्रेट किया था प्लांटेशन। तो इंडस्ट्रियल एरियाज में तो उनका एक प्रोग्राम शुरू है। तो अगर जैसे जैसे प्लॉट्स मिलते हैं इंडस्ट्री हैंड ओवर करती है जीआईजेड को टू डू द प्लांटेशन। बाकी एनकैप में प्रोविजन है अभी उसका खाली प्लॉट पता नहीं उसमें अभी क्या उसका प्रोविजन अभी क्या स्टेटस है उसका, लेकिन देयर इज प्रोविजन इन दैट।
एनकैप क्या हुआ, सॉरी?
नेशनल क्लीन एयर प्रोग्राम में जो कंप्लायंस है ना, जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन चीज उसमें कंपोनेंट्स हैं। नेशनल क्लीन एयर प्रोग्राम जो अभी गौरव ने बताया ना, जिसमें नेशन वाइड रिडक्शन टारगेट है सिटीज को दिया हुआ है, तो उसमें एक लिस्ट ऑफ एक्टिविटीज भी दी हुई है। तो उसमें एक है कि खाली प्लॉट में प्लांटेशन होना चाहिए, ऐसा है उसके अंदर।
So by number of trees I actually meant कि ऐसा कुछ डेटा या कर सकते हैं राइट या वर्कआउट कर सकते हैं कि वी हैव नंबर्स फॉर एयर पोल्यूशन इंडेक्स, और फिर हमारे पास ये कुछ डिराइव कर सकते हैं कि to cater to this or to at least have a good air quality we need this much percentage of green cover या this much percentage of native trees that we are looking at. वो अगर
तो
इतना करेंगे तो we'll have a comfortable space.
so
And then if we don't have that
this
space, then we have to save the land. Is what my
वो
counter.
गौरव जैसे हम लोग फ्यूचर के लिए करते हैं ना कि 20% रिडक्शन
हाँ,
करने के लिए
so
सेक्टर वाइज क्या क्या किया है, उसमें अगर आपके पास कुछ हो तो प्लीज सर।
नहीं, so plantation is an additional mitigation measures. So basically हर एक जो सोर्स है जैसे इंडस्ट्री है, तो बेसिकली वी हैव टू mitigate air pollution at source level only. That हम एयर पोल्यूशन को कम नहीं कर पाएंगे। सो हमारी जो स्टडी है उसका मेन टारगेट ये है कि अभी फिलहाल जैसे रोड स्ट्रेचेस के आसपास एयर पोल्यूशन ज्यादा होता है, तो हम ऐसे रोड स्ट्रेचेस आइडेंटिफाई करें जहाँ जहाँ हॉटस्पॉट्स हैं और जहाँ पे प्लांटेशन फिजिबल भी है। इफ देयर इज नॉट इनफ स्पेस फॉर प्लांटेशन देन आई थिंक वी कैनॉट डू एनीथिंग अबाउट दैट। सो सम एरियाज वेयर प्लांटेशन इज पॉसिबल, तो वहां पे किस टाइप का प्लांटेशन होना चाहिए। एंड इन केस अगर हम वहां पे प्लांटेशन कर देते हैं और इट इज नॉट फेवरेबल, तो वहां की विंड मूवमेंट के लिए फेवरेबल नहीं है, तो प्लांटेशन का गलत इम्पैक्ट होगा एयर पोल्यूशन कम करने की बजाय। सो द आइडिया ऑफ दिस एक्सरसाइज इज कि हम एरियाज में करना है। बाकी ओपन स्पेसेस में आई थिंक ओपन स्पेसेस अभी इस जो हमारी करंट अप्रोच है उसके स्कोप में ओपन स्पेसेस नहीं है। आई थिंक जैसे सर ने बोला जीआईजेड इज वर्किंग ऑन दैट। सो इन फ्यूचर अगर इस टाइप की कोई स्टडी होती है तो आई थिंक वो उस टाइप की कैलकुलेशंस भी हम करेंगे। एंड आई थिंक द डेंसिटी ऑफ ट्री कवर इज अराउंड 8% और समथिंग लाइक दैट, 8.7%। वो अराउंड 18 to 20% होना चाहिए किसी भी एक सिटी में। तो उसके बेसिस पे हम एस्टिमेट कर सकते हैं कि कितना ट्री कवर हमें बढ़ाना है।
Right. Any other questions?
I think it was a great session. Thank you so much, Gaurav and Kishore Bhai, for organizing this. If there's no question, then we can end this session. If anybody wants to add anything or summarize anything.
I just would like to add one update from our meeting. So we are planning to, for the biodiversity part, we are planning to launch a biodiversity survey of Surat, under which we've identified a lot of studies that will be conducted, mainly because what we realized was there is a lack of data, which is, which is evident. And like you also said, Gaurav and Kishore, like a lot of times you have to show the data to prove something. We all know, like common sense wise, that you grow more trees, there'll be less pollution. It's like, it's not something that needs to be like, but then when you have to have the authorities take decisions and it has to come in the priority, you need to show the data. So that's exactly what the intention for that is. And Chetali is leading that in Bhagwan Mahavir. And we have identified around 5 to 6 projects, and we'll be launching them either this Sunday or Saturday or Monday. That is to be finalized, but we will share that in the group. So it's going to be a physical launch. So, if most of you, everyone is welcome to join. And secondly, for the, I think, yeah, this is more the most mature update right now that we have. And the others, there will be some more updates that will be coming in the next weeks. So, yeah. And very briefly, if the new joinees today, Dr. B.K. Patel and your students, if you could just say a few words as to how your experience was. You're on mute, sir.
It was wonderful session. I just missed initial all presentation, but still I'll be very much eager to enlighten my knowledge with respect to this environment point of view. And biodiversity park is again one of the great things has been done by the municipality and the all authorities and those who have done that planning. And I'll be happy to join in the next session whenever you are planning. So we can try to implement in our practical point of view also. And thanks for that. And it was a very good things. Yeah, I appreciate the same.
Yes, thank you very much, VK sir, for joining today. And
it's all because of you. It's all because of you. Just by accidentally, I came to know there is a good session likely to happen. So, so I got the information from you itself.
Sir, you can join this group also.
Okay.
It's a Surat Sustainability Roundtable.
Right.
We all are working, whosoever is interested for sustainability. Right. So I will request Divya to explain you about the group personally on the phone call, and you can also be part of it.
Yeah, it will be the great pleasure for me to be a part of your group, and I'll be enlightened my knowledge in that way.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
So very quickly, Kishore Bhai and Gaurav Bhai, if you both can also use the knowledge of our Snehal Bhai, who actually has had very. So he has a lot of experience with the biodiversity, like the native, species, which can also bring many other benefits, like, also preserve the ecosystem, so to say. So somewhere, if you can, I think have him and the advisory or in some sort of a role while you're devising the guidelines, I think it will also fill in that block of biodiversity, and we may be able to, एक तीर से दो निशाने शायद लग सके.
Sure.
Kishore bhai, what do you think? Do you think it's possible to do that?
Sure. Abhi, we'll get in touch with him once guidelines are done.
Yeah, with the first draft.
Happy to have his comments on first draft, and we'll be very happy if he reviews the document and provides his comments.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, and thank you so much again, Gaurav, for taking the time.
And one more thing, Divya, some like you are curiously asking like about survey and also. जब हम लोग survey कर रहे होंगे, if anybody wants to observe like what we do and kind of do, please try to contact us. जिन आप आके भी देख सकते हैं कैसे surveys और studies carry out कर सकते हैं.
I think it would be lovely. We would love to come.
Yes.
Yeah, it will be a great experience for us also.
Absolutely. So please do let us know when you're doing it. We would love to join you.
Kishore sir, few of our M-Plan final year students are doing thesis on green infrastructure and air pollution.
Okay.
So if they need any support, I will suggest your name.
Yeah, please.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.